Right, it's time for us to have a look ahead to the weekend. And of course, we kick things off around here with our game of the weekend. And that is the Friday night clash at Kenilworth Road between Luton Town and Derby County. Luton are the 6-5 favourites to win this one with SBK. A Derby win is 11-4. The draw is 23-10. But the big question is, Justin, what Derby is this?
There can only be one answer. It's the Steve Howard Derby.
Da, 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 da. Stevie Howard. Da, 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 da. Yeah, only one answer for that one. It was always going to be old Stevie Howard. And I think I'll come clean here and admit that the reason that we're going for this for the game of the weekend is because I'm going to be at this one tonight, Justin. Obviously taking place tonight. I'm very excited for it, not just because it's a fascinating match, but also because it may very well be the last time I go to Kenilworth Road. So an emotional occasion for me.
Why is that? Why does that make it emotional for you? I know you've got ties to the area. You spent time there, but did it grow on you that much?
I love Kenilworth Road. Kenilworth Road's one of my favourite grounds just because it's old-fashioned and it makes me long for the days when football stadiums were stadiums, proper stadiums, you know what I mean?
As a man growing up in the 2000s, longing for football of yesteryear.
It's very true.
Kenilworth Roads, yeah. Well, I mean, the Canning's a throwback to the 70s, not the mid-2000s.
It's not, but I prefer these old, proper stadiums as opposed to, your plastic bowls. So these are the stadiums I'm going to miss, Justin. So that's why it's going to be an emotional occasion for me. As you alluded to just then, I went there plenty of times when I lived there for a bit. That was when they were in non-league, so a lot has changed since then. But yeah, I'll be leaving with tears in my eyes later tonight, running my hands along the wall, kissing it goodbye. All that sort of stuff. But in all seriousness, ladies and gents, one of the big things I'm really fascinated to see is the change in atmosphere at Kenilworth Road, because traditionally it would be a great atmosphere, wouldn't it? Very compact, your typical tough place to go. But what I've been hearing a lot from Luton fans recently is how different it's been this season. It's been dire. It's been really flat, the atmosphere at Kenilworth Road. And that's all down to this very underwhelming season that we're seeing, Justin.
Yeah, it's hardly a surprise. I mean, I think it stems back to the start of the season. I think the easiest thing you can say is, fans aren't idiots, or actually, fans aren't thickos, to quote Neil Harris. You go back to the summer, recruitment didn't really get the juices flowing for anyone associated with Luton Town, did it? Ross Barkley left, Ogbenny left, Osho left, Andros Townsend left. A lot of big names who played a big part in their Premier League season last season. Big players, big name players, big reputations. Were they replaced? No. So even heading into that Burnley game on the opening day of the season, they started on the back foot, and there was a lot of frustration amongst Luton fans, even with some recruitment and transfers. And then when you don't back it up with performances, or actually you do back up that underwhelming nature of recruitment with really underwhelming performances, fans are going to be underwhelmed, they're going to be frustrated. And then when you continuously do the same thing over and over again and get the same results, i.e. defeats, they're going to get pissed off. And it's going to make everything, I wouldn't say toxic, so I don't think we're at that point yet, but it's going to make it a disappointing experience, when actually in the past few years, going to Kenilworth Road for Luton fans has been one of joy and anticipation and, are we going to get one over on opposition? It's a lot of piss boiling, if you like, and that's thanks to Nathan Jones and co. Not really there now. It's just meh.
Yeah,
do we have to go sort of thing?
It is a bit meh, and you say it's not toxic, Justin. I don't think it's far away at this stage, but it's understandable that supporters are feeling this way, because it's quite the come down for them going to Kenilworth Road and seeing them draw against the likes of Liverpool to now struggling against teams like Hull, because it's nearly a year to the day, Justin, that they beat Newcastle at the Kenny, and now they're in this position. It's such a dramatic downfall, isn't it? And that's led to a lot of anger directed at Rob Edwards. It's sad they get to the stage where he's actually tarnishing his legacy in the eyes of an increasing number of Luton fans, and even Gary Sweet, the club CEO, who's arguably the main reason why they went from non-league to the Premier League, even he's been getting stick at this stage, and we all know there isn't anywhere to hide at Kenilworth Road, is there? But look, Luton are obviously desperate for results, particularly because their away form is absolutely dire. So Rob Edwards is relying on results at home to essentially keep him in a job.
Well, yeah, that's it. And I was saying last weekend, wasn't I, that mediocrity, it feels like that's become acceptable this season at Luton, which it should never be the case. Luton, for me, has always been a club of chasing more. You know, the players always gave everything. And I'm not saying that's not the case now, but you don't see it. You just don't see it. And I think you see that with the fans. That's gone to this, into the stands because the underwhelming nature that just seeps in everywhere. And yeah, that mediocrity, I think, it's now just an acceptable form at Luton this season, and that needs to change. And obviously, I think with that, unfortunately, that comes with a change of manager and the ownership taking control of a situation that is quickly spiraling. I'm not saying they're going to get dragged into a relegation battle, but where are Luton now in the Championship? We're looking at them currently 19th position, only 5 points above the bottom three. That's a joke. That's a joke. It really is. And unfortunately, Rob Edwards has to take accountability for that.
Yeah. Well, we talk about how poor the atmosphere has been at Kenilworth Road. Bizarrely, the results at Kenilworth Road haven't actually been that bad. They've only lost one of their last 9. Not a bad record at all. Have they been playing as well at Kenilworth Road as their results suggest? I would definitely argue no. I think they've been very fortunate in a number of home games recently. And I don't think Luton fans are stupid. I think they can see that things aren't all right on the pitch as well. So there's no masking the problems that Luton have. They are signing Eric Peters, though, Justin, the former Stoke and West Brom left back. What do you think about that?
That'll lift the crowd.
I think he's 36 now, so he's I think his best days are probably behind him. May I hesitate to ask?
Yeah, I read the write up on him on the Luton Town website. He trained with Luton in summer, which passed me by. So it's clearly been a change of tact there from Rob Edwards, but yeah, it helps him in a slightly sticky situation with player availability and player fitness. It's going to be a one way he's going to fill the numbers training wise. Rob Edwards said he's not there to get minutes. He's going to help out with training, and if an opportunity arises, then it's up to Peters to take it. But yeah, I think that's probably about sums up where Luton are at the moment. Signing a 36-year-old free agent who hasn't played since last season. Aha, good times.
Him and Victor Moses at wing back. Oh,
Victor Moses has done all right. This might pay off for Luton.
It's like an old people's homes, the wing-back positions for them at the moment, isn't it? Bloody hell. But let's talk about Derby, because they're heading to Kenilworth Road off the back of that 4-0 thumping of Portsmouth last Friday, and then getting a point away at Burnley before that. So they'll fancy their chances going to the Kenny tonight, won't they? They have been dealt a blow, though, with defender Aaron Cashin set to be out until the new year with a hamstring injury, which admittedly isn't far away, but there's a lot of games to play in that time, isn't there? And that's a big blow, Justin, because he's probably Derby's best player.
I think pound for pound, value-wise, definitely Derby's best player. It is a huge blow. I do like Cashin. I think he has his flaws, but the defence looks a lot steadier with him and Curtis Nelson together as a partnership. I think his passing range is also a very useful tool for Derby, those big switches he makes. And as well, Nat Phillips on loan from Liverpool hasn't really convinced me at this level, if I'm going to be honest. I look at it on paper and I go, it's really exciting, but I think the reason why I think it's an exciting signing way back in the summer is because I'm visualising that Nat Phillips, who had that spell in Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool side when they had no defenders. But then you remind yourself that actually Nat Phillips has played less games than Aaron Cashin, despite Nat Phillips being 5 years older than Aaron Cashin. So, yeah, that's a big blow for Cashin being out. Nat Phillips is an okay addition, but I think it's going to be an interesting test for Derby because, as I say, having Cashin in that team, not only is he a good defender, but he's turned into a leader of that team.
Yeah. I'm not sure I agree about the Nat Phillips point. I think Phillips is quite a good defender. And considering Luton have had a habit this season of just firing in cross after cross, if it's Nelson and Phillips at centre-back for Derby, that'll be meat and drink for them, won't it? They'll be just eating that up. They'll be loving that if that does happen. So be interested to see if it is Phillips who does in fact play on later today. But let's talk Derby's away results this season, because don't provide a lot of encouragement, do they? Just one win on their travels. What they will take encouragement from is the fact they've only lost 2 of the last 7. So they've done pretty well recently, getting something on the road, haven't they?
Yes and no. Looking at that Burnley game in isolation, their last away game, that was a good result and a good performance. They looked very difficult to break down, very sturdy, and they had a couple of chances on the break. But Derby are a team that they set up away from home to defend and hope for the best. That is the game plan that I perceive from watching them. We saw that against Leeds. We've seen it against Sheffield United, against Stoke City, amongst more away games. You can tell that with their possession stats, for example. They're never going to be a team that dominates the ball, but they've only had more than 50% possession in one of their away games this season. That was the hammering to Blackburn on the opening day of the season. And then you break it down a little bit more. They've only created more chances than their opposition in 2 away games this season, and they concede a lot of chances. But as you pointed out, Curtis Nelson, Nat Phillips, if Luton decide to do what they do every game and cross the ball into the box, they're going to eat it up. But this Derby team can be got at away from home. It really can. Yeah,
it certainly can do. I think Paul Ward and his players will be happy just to get a point from this one, because they seem happy with a point in just about every away game this season. So they'll get men behind the ball and just be trying to grind it out and try and hurt Luton when they can, if the opportunity arises. By the way, if you think you're seeing Derby on TV a lot recently, that's because you have done. This will be the 5th of Derby's last 6 games shown live on Sky Sports. I say live. They've got the Sky Sports Plus thing now, haven't they? So, yeah, I mean, when I say 5 of 6, I'm talking about the designated game for main coverage. So this will be Derby's 5th game in 6. And they're also on TV on Boxing Day and the next round of games after that too. So 7 games in 8 on TV. That is mad, isn't it, Justin?
As a Derby fan, I apologise. I really do, because there are better teams to watch than Derby. But, you know, what's better for neutral supporters than to see Derby fans disappointed? So maybe watching them lose might be a good thing for the neutrals.
The way things are going, they may have their own channel on Sky soon, so because they're on there all the time, they may as well. Anyway, ladies and gents, it's now time for our second tier bet builder with SBK. And just a reminder, ladies and gents, of Fresh Legs. What's Fresh Legs, I hear you ask? No, it's not Justin doing his daily leg shave in the bath. What it means is you've backed a player to score, have a shot on target, or pick up a card, and if they get subbed off, that means your bet's still alive, because with SBK, the bet transfers over to the player coming on, meaning you're still in the game. SBK are the only bookmaker offering this on every championship game this season, meaning there really is no better place to bet on the second tier. So why not sign up for SBK and join the thousands of people already taking advantage of Fresh Legs every weekend? And SBK, being the best in the biz, they're also offering a 25% boost on bet builders with 4 or more selections for Luton v Derby. So every Friday, we're making our own bet builder with 4 selections, all relating to our game of the weekend. So that's 2 for Justin and 2 for me. Justin, kick us off. What's your first selection?
I've gone with Elijah Adebayo to have a shot on target in this game. Adebayo, I think, is the most frustrating footballer on the planet. He blows hot and cold so often. I do love him. I really do. And I love him that much. I signed him on Football Manager a hell of a lot. More than I should, actually. But this season has not been his season. However, he's very good at getting into goal-scoring positions. In fact, he's recorded a shot on target in each of his last 5 games. And with Derby doing a bad job at keeping opposition out, as I was alluding to just a moment ago, chances of a shot from Adebayo are going to increase here. So Adebayo to have a shot on target is the first selection.
He's actually been in decent form recently with 3 goals in his last 4, but he has had a pretty underwhelming season. That's got to be said.
Hot and cold.
Yeah, very much so. And Derby do give away chances on their travels, so Adebayo should have a sight of goal at some point in this game. My first selection for the Bet Builder is under 5.5 cards. It's Ryan's card pick of the week. Yeah, I will admit I was struggling with a card pick for this one. I usually like to be on the side of cards as opposed to saying we won't see many, but every avenue I went down led to me thinking we shouldn't see too many in this one. The referee is Andrew Kitchen. He did go absolutely bananas with cards when he gave out 8 between Portsmouth and Norwich a couple of weeks ago. But before that, he officiated 8 championship games in a row with under 5.5 cards. So to say there won't be 6 cards in a game is a very cautious pick from me, but it does help boost the odds a little wee bit, Justin.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Andrew Kitchen doesn't boil over in this one, and if he's going to have a good game, he's got to be cooking, hasn't he?
Just what's your next selection?
Come on, they're better than your Christmas jokes.
Hey, my Christmas jokes have been on point, mate.
My next selection is under 3.5 goals. Okay, trust us, didn't go to plan last week, but I feel that our bet builder last week was just one of those games where everything went against us. This one, under 3.5 goals, this is it. I can see a lowish scoring game in this one. I know we've talked about Derby's ability to concede chances, but Luton aren't exactly a prolific side. Adebayo can't hit a barn door sometimes. Hopefully he does hit a barn door at least once in this game, as the last selection would suggest. But there have only been 3.5 goals, over 3.5 goals in one of Derby's away games this season. And I'm going to lean towards Derby here because I think they hold the key to what happens in this game. I think if they allow Luton in, they will lose. If they keep them sturdy, keep the defence sturdy, as they can do on the road, I can't see many goals happening in this game. So, yeah, as I say, only happened once where they conceded over 3.5 goals. That was the opening day defeat to Blackburn, where they lost 4-2. So I think, yes, this one will fall under 3.5.
Yeah, as you say, Justin, it was the opening day. They've had 10 away games since where it's been under 3.5 goals. Luton have seen under 3.5 goals in the last 7 games at Kenilworth Road. So it does match up pretty well, this one, doesn't it? And as you say, Derby are very cautious in away games, so I'd be surprised to see this one break out into a classic, put it that way. And a final selection for the Bet Builder, Luton Town to win. This is a really tricky game to call. I'll say that much for sure, because it's 2 teams who I don't think have been playing well, even when they've got positive results. I don't think they've been playing well. I don't think Derby will win. 1 away win all season. Their away results are shocking, and Paul Warren does have a habit of being overly negative in away games with Derby, so I struggle to get behind them. Then that leaves us, obviously, with a Luton win or a draw, and on the balance of probability, a win for either team is more likely than a draw, because that's how it works. So I'm falling on a Luton win, although I don't have a lot of confidence because they're just not playing very well. But based off how their recent results at Kenilworth Road have gone, as I say, just 1 loss in the last 7, I would say the most likely scenario is they squeak out another win, Justin. Because they haven't been playing brilliantly, but their results have been all right at Kenilworth Road. So are you happy to go with a home victory, JP?
I think with Luton being at home and them being better at home than Derby are away, yes. Like you said, it is a hard one to call, and this is probably where they generate a fair bit of risk. But as I say, I think I'm more confident in Luton coming away with something than I am Derby. It would have to be a shot off someone's arse and Derby defend for their lives if they come away with 3 points, isn't it? Whereas with Luton, probably, despite being probably a poor team than Derby this season, at home, yeah, I'd back them.
Yeah, absolutely. So our bet builder for Luton v Derby County tonight is Elijah Adebayo to have a shot on target, under 5.5 cards, under 3.5 goals, and Luton Town to win. A £10 stake on that bet builder returns £50 thanks to SBK, boosting the odds by 25%. But remember, if you don't fancy our bet builder, with SBK you can create your own bet builder from a range of markets. T's and C's apply, over 18s only, and please do gamble responsibly. Justin, let's take a quick break. After that, we'll go on to our banker and outsider predictions for Lay Weekend. Welcome back to the Second Tier Podcast, and it's now time for us to have a look ahead to the weekend. And in each preview episode of the Second Tier, Justin and I will each pick a banker, a team we think is guaranteed to win this coming weekend, as well as an outsider, so someone we think is going to win, but is bigger odds with our friends at SBK than their opponent. We're tracking how we do as the season goes on. It's 1 point for a correct banker, 2 points for an outsider. Whoever loses has to do a forfeit, which is to be a mascot at an EFL game next season. The current scores are 23-16 to Justin Peach. We both got our bankers correct last weekend. Neither of us had any luck with our outsiders, and I'm starting to get the sense, Justin, that the outsiders is where this season is going to be won, because we both had pretty good luck with our bankers this season. It's the outsiders where there's a bit of a gap.
Yeah, I mean, I think quite tellingly, away form for a lot of teams this season has been really shit.
I was saying this the other day. I was on another podcast, but it was this season in particular. It feels like home and away form is such a massive thing, because there are so many teams who are great at home but shocking in away. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I think therefore picking an outsider gets even trickier. And obviously, when you've got the likes of, you know, the Leeds and Sheffield Uniteds and all of this going away from home, they're not going to be an outsider. So it's just become very difficult and very tricky picking them, because, yeah, just away form's just shocking at the moment. Like trying to pick Watford away from home, you pick them because their form's great, but the form away from home is just not convincing enough. So yeah, picking outsiders is an effing nightmare.
Yeah, it is this season. It really is. But that's where it's going to be won, I think, ladies and gents. That's how it's going to be decided who's going to be donning some skimpy shorts when they're a mascot next season at an EFL game. Let's go to the bankers then, Justin. Kick us off. What's your banker for this weekend?
I've gone with Middlesbrough to win away at Plymouth on Saturday afternoon. That's a long drive, isn't it?
That is a long drive. But ladies and gents, he's gone with Borough again. He's gone mad.
Yep. Yes, Middlesbrough fans. I'm jinxing you once again. Look, it's Plymouth. Come on. It's Plymouth. That's it. Next one.
Please have a bit more explanation than that, because I don't think that'll satisfy people.
I'm just joshing. It is Plymouth. We did see a spirited display from Argyle against Sheffield United last weekend, but was that enough to convince me that the tide of losing games and conceding poor goals has turned? No. And I think quality is going to tell in this one. Borough have a lot of it. They create chances of fun. I don't need to talk about that. You've got Finn Azaz, the division's leading chance creator, coming up against his former loan side. I wouldn't say he was going to want to prove a point, because he had very good times there and he was a loan player and he left on good terms. But I imagine he's going to want to showcase what he can do to the Argyle supporters. And I think more tellingly, and again, this is why I said, look, lads, it's Plymouth. Worryingly, they concede an average of 2 goals per game. They start very slow in games. Borough create a hell of a lot of chances, and it's just a case of if they can have a game like they had at Oxford a few weeks back, where they just scored it from every chance they created, this will be a long afternoon for Plymouth. Really long.
Yeah, you could make a fair argument, Justin, that it's the best attack in the league against the worst defence in the league. So it could be an interesting afternoon for Wazza's boys. I'm just amazed that we've got Justin Peach here, the guy who had a terrible record backing Middlesbrough this season. It was 4 games in a row where he made Middlesbrough his banker and they let him down. And then last weekend, it all turned around. He got his first win backing Middlesbrough this season, but now he's getting carried away and he's going with them again, Justin.
Yeah, if they can't win away at Plymouth, I know that the football universe is actually trying to do me here, because this is the most winnable game I think Middlesbrough could possibly have this season. I know they're away, but considering the amount of chances that Plymouth concede, the amount Borough create, the quality between the two sides, it's just a no-brainer. It really is. Really is.
Yeah, Justin, quickly on Middlesbrough, one player who could be leaving Teesside in January is Isaiah Jones, someone who's been a massive player for them over the years, hasn't he? He's been a big player for them, producing on many an occasion. But reportedly, he's looking to leave the club in January. What do you think about that? It's just a case, really, of there's just so many players playing well for Middlesbrough that he's just not getting a look in, really, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a talented individual. He really is. I do like watching him, but I think there's just probably a part of Michael Carrick's system he just doesn't quite fit in, and I think there's sometimes an issue with consistency as well. You're going to get that with wingers, but again, I don't think Michael Carrick plays with a conventional winger. Ben Doak, I know, is typical winger, but yeah, there's a lot of flexibility and fluidity in that team, and I don't think Isaiah Jones offers as much as it. And therefore, he's at a key time in his career. He needs to develop. He needs games. He needs minutes. And I think either a loan spell out or a permanent move away will do him some good. But I think it's just a system issue that he doesn't quite fit into under Michael Carrick.
Well, my best memories of Isaiah Jones was when he was playing as a wing back, and Michael Carrick doesn't play with wing backs, does he? He's always played with 4 at the back, so he just doesn't fit into the system. And he's played on the wing a few occasions. He did pretty well last season in Michael Carrick's side, but when you've got Ben Doak and various other players who are just in such blistering form, that means players like Isaiah Jones just won't get a look in, because at the end of the day, you can only play 11 players, can't you? I'm sure there's other players at Middlesbrough who would like to get more of a chance, but just aren't. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where he turns up. I have seen Luton mentioned, considering they are desperate for a right wing back. I think that'd be a match made in heaven. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see where he does end up next month. Let's go to my banker for this weekend. I've gone with Leeds United to win at home to Oxford on Saturday afternoon. Yeah, this game has a little bit more intrigue to it because of the appointment of Gary Rowett at Oxford. If he is in charge for this one, which is a bit unclear as we sit here right now, then he won't have had much time to prepare. I'd maybe give this one a miss, Gaz. Because Rowett or no Rowett, new manager bounce or no new manager bounce, this looks like a mountain to climb for Oxford. 1 point from their last 6 games, just 2 points won on their travels all season. And now they're going to arguably the toughest place to go in the Championship. Mm-hmm. Good luck. 8 wins on the bounce for Leeds at Elland Road. Their away form has been a cause for concern, but not their home form. They have been breezing past teams in front of their own fans, and they should make easy work of Oxford. They should be looking to win this one by at least 3 or 4, really. So it's an obvious pick, but if I didn't have it, Justin was going to, and so I'll happily take this one.
Yeah, Leeds 3 p.m. kickoff. Absolutely, I'll eat that up all day.
Flipping heck.
No. Because they drew up against Preston last weekend, which again was a lunchtime kickoff. So 1 win in, I think it's 11 games now, lunchtime kickoffs for Leeds. Just feed into my theory a little bit, but 3 p.m. at home against Oxford, who pre-Gary Rowett haven't been as convincing as they could have been. They did put in a decent display against Sheffield Wednesday, but were undone by moments, and I think Leeds are going to have moments in this game because it's Leeds at home. You really do have to run your luck when you're playing at Elland Road, and I don't think it's going to fall at Oxford's way. And if it does, can I see them coming away with anything here? No, because Leeds are Leeds. They've got quality in abundance, and they keep saying it. They're at home. They're so good at home.
Yeah.
It's easy.
And it's not an early kickoff, which means so much, doesn't it? The fact that they're kicking off 2 to 3 hours earlier than usual is such a massive thing, and it just really hinders Leeds. It's got nothing to do with how much they've struggled away this season. It's all because they kick off 2 to 3 hours earlier than usual. Yeah. What an absolute nightmare they're having with them. Ridiculous. Anyway, if my sarcasm wasn't coming through enough there, we've just talked about one player possibly leaving in January, Justin. There's another one at Leeds United, because we were just discussing the downfall of Patrick Bamford in the weekend show, Justin. I've seen reports today linking him with Wrexham. Do you think about that one?
Fucking hell. He needs to move to the MLS, I think, does Patrick Bamford. I think the MLS is made for him.
Wrexham is basically the MLS anyway, isn't it?
That's true. I don't know why this link has come up, but it's obviously the noise.
Why do you think it is, Justin? Let's hazard a guess here. Why do you think it is?
I don't know, because he doesn't score goals, does he? So it's not a footballing thing.
Justin, it's all about the documentary views. You just want as big a name as you can get in there. And
is Patrick Bamford a big name?
Played for England 3 years ago.
Well, they might as well sign Jake Livermore then. Do you know what I mean?
Get him in. Get all the one cap wonders in through the door. Jack Cork. Why not? Get them all in.
No, yeah, it's just a strange one. Look, I think Patrick Bamford's time at Leeds is coming to an end, a natural end. It needs to end. They need to get him off the books. Can Wrexham afford 60, 70 grand a week? Probably can. Yeah, definitely can actually.
Yeah, they definitely can. It's more a case of, what other benefits he gets from it, I guess, because it'll be exposure from the documentary. But
all those missed chances are going to be worldwide.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, we were saying he doesn't seem to have any obvious other home that he could go to, because Championship clubs won't be willing to fork out for all those wages. But with Wrexham, it seems like a match made in heaven, really. And you never know. He scored an absolute hat load in the Premier League not too long ago, didn't he? So if he does regain confidence, find that form again, then he could tear apart League One. It's just he's been struggling in the Championship for so long that he definitely needs a change of scenery in some shape or form, doesn't he? But it'll be interesting to see this January. There's going to be loads of players. It's going to be very interesting to see where they end up in January. Anyway, let's get back on to this weekend. Because we've had mine and Justin's two bankers for the weekend, and every week we combine these two selections with a bet on the full-time result of our game of the weekend to create our very own second-tier featured multiple with SBK. So this week we're going for Leeds, Middlesbrough and Luton all to win. So a £10 bet on our multiple returns £37. There are three selections, but if you add one of your own, then you'll be able to take full advantage of SBK's 20% ACCA boost. So four selections and you'll get a 20% boost on your winnings. Not bad at all, eh? That offer expires at 3 p.m. on Saturday. T's and C's apply. Over 18s only. And please do gamble responsibly. Justin, let's go to your outsider then. What have you got for me, big boy?
I've gone with Norwich to win away at Sunderland on Saturday afternoon. Look, the ball's on me. The ball's on me. I'll be honest, I was unnerved by options of outsiders, and this is the definition of outsider. Norwich's chances of going to Sunderland and getting a result and getting a win, I should say, very, very slim. Sunderland are unbeaten at home this season, really strong at the Stadium of Light. Norwich are winless in the last 7 away games. Fuck me, what am I doing? But as we were, discussing, away form's not the best throughout the Championship, so I think you are flipping a coin, and there aren't too many that really stick out. But I think when you consider the fact that Sunderland haven't been hitting the high notes of late at home, they have been creating chances, but they have been lacking quality, which means chances have gone to waste, which has meant they've been dropping wins and sometimes scraping points. And I think coming up against Norwich, Norwich will either be on it or off it. And if they are on it, and this is why I say it's a flip of a coin, if they are on it, they really will do some damage. And I think when you're in the lead up to Christmas, a lot of things get a little bit mad, get a little bit crazy. And I'm just sort of trying to lend into that a little bit. That crazy part of me that just wants to put my feet up. It's Christmas, take my foot off the gas and just see what happens. And that's why I'm picking Norwich as my outsider.
Yeah, when you put this selection in the WhatsApp chat earlier today, I was a bit surprised, to say the very least. And I still don't really know why you've gone with them, Justin, to be honest, because 2 wins away from home all season for Norwich. And as you say, Sunderland's unbeaten at home. Yeah, it's a bold pick. I'll give you that. And, well, I fully accept your reasoning that we're not completely flushed for great outsider picks this weekend. I would have thought there are more obvious ones than this one.
Listen, this is me. You know, when you're at school and the teachers roll in the TV on a Friday afternoon before you break up, I'm doing that. Okay. This is before Christmas. This is before I let loose. So this is what I'm doing. On a serious note, I think it is Sunderland's just inconsistency of putting those chances away that I'm leaning into here. And I think with Norwich, they do possess a lot of quality. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I do recognise that. It's just whether or not a boy signs can score a beauty, or Ashley Barnes can piss someone off, get them sent off, and Sunderland are up against it. I don't know. This is a hard one to call, but I've just gone with it because I've got a lead and I'm cutting loose, baby.
Portsmouth at home to Coventry. Didn't fancy that one?
I'm not. Again, this comes down to I'm just not overly convinced by Portsmouth.
Swansea away at Hull.
Swansea away at Hull. It's a bit boring, that one is.
I'm just saying, there were other options you could have chose here, instead of just going for one of the less likely ones of the weekend, I would say. But you do you, mate. It's your points at the end of the day. I'm going for my outsider, ladies and gents. I'm going for the prime Pep Barcelona. Blackburn to win away at Millwall on Saturday afternoon. It's the big question on everyone's lips, ladies and gents. How are we going to stop the Blackburn juggernaut? Nobody knows how. It's 6 wins on the bounce. They are leaving teams in their dust. Is it going to happen again this weekend? Why the hell not? They have genuinely been playing so well. 5 clean sheets in a row. That defence has been keeping teams at arm's length, and they've been creating plenty of chances in their own right in this run as well. John Eustace has got them playing superbly right now, and they will be fearing no one, even when it comes to venturing all the way down to the Lion's Den. And that's because they go into a Millwall side in limbo right now. Of course, this is their first game since the departure of Neil Harris. David Livermore is in caretaker charge for this one. And he's got a pretty tricky task right here, because Millwall are winless in 6, lost each of their last 3, haven't scored in the last 3 either. They have really struggled going forwards recently. There's starting to become a bit of a reliance on set pieces, and that struggle going forwards is not what you need when you go into a team who haven't conceded in their last 5 games. Plus, they're missing Jake Cooper, who's such a massive player for them, literally and figuratively. So I see no reason why Rovers can't make it 7 wins on the trot right here, because, as I say, they will be fearing nothing right now, Justin.
It's a really good time to play Millwall, isn't it? It really is. I think from a Blackburn perspective, the stars are aligning on that run continuing. But it's just, I feel like it'll be one of those games that we're going to see probably 2 or 3 shots on target throughout. It's going to be an ugly game, a really, really ugly game, not a classic. They will not make DVDs of this. Don't make DVDs anymore. But you get my point. And I think it's going to be won by either Blackburn scoring in the 30th minute and then defending for the rest of the game, because Millwall aren't going to offer a hell of a lot, or it's going to be Millwall scoring a set piece in the 70th minute. That's how I see this game panning out, and it's going to be one of those games that, you know, there's going to be an edge of luck about it. Not discrediting Blackburn's run of form at all, but they're just very good at managing opposition. They're very, very good at it, and Millwall are a good team to manage in terms of their game, because they're very one-dimensional and have become one-dimensional. They become Millwall of old, if you like, and that's probably a nice place for John Eustace to sit in.
Yeah, John Eustace will be licking his lips going to the Den this weekend. Right, ladies and gents, those are our predictions for this weekend, and that means it's now time for this.
All right. Settle down, you lot. It's time for the Craig Bryson pub quiz.
Yes, it is, Mr. Barman. It's the Craig Bryson pub quiz, and this is how it works. I'm going to give Justin 6 clues about a Championship player, past or present, each more revealing than the last. He simply has to guess who it is. They must have made over 200 Championship appearances in their career. And don't forget, the Dexter Blackstock rule is in play. Justin, would you like your first clue?
Of course I would. Of course.
I have 211 Championship appearances, scoring 65 goals.
Hey, prolific.
It's a fair few goals, isn't it?
It's like a 1.35.
Nobody needed the maths here. Come on.
Darius Henderson.
It's not Darius or Darius Henderson. I've never really understood which one we're meant to say.
I'll go Darius.
Commentators always used to call him Darius. Anyway, it's not Darius Henderson, but always good to hear him mentioned. Your next clue, Justin, is this. I didn't actually make my senior debut in football until the age of 20, back in 2002.
The age of 20 in 2002. It's 1982 I was born.
Good maths. Well done, mate.
Thank you. That precedes Adiakinbai.
Yeah. Which is how all clues are judged on, obviously.
Was he born before or after Adiakinbai? I'll go with Dwight Gale.
It's not Dwight Gale, but good to mentions. This is your next clue. I didn't make my Championship debut until the age of 27 when I played for Leicester City.
27. That would make his debut for Leicester coming in at 2009. So I'll go Matty Fryatt.
It's not Matty Fryatt, but another good one to hear mentioned. I'm a big fan of that. I used to love Matty Fryatt. He was a great player.
Good goal scorer.
Fourth clue is this. I also played in the second tier for Charlton, Reading, and even won promotion with Bournemouth.
Charlton, Reading. Got it.
Go on.
Jan Kermigan.
Yeah, it is. I was hoping you may have been overconfident then, but yeah, it is Jan Kermigan, which is a shame. I avoided all mention of the fact that he was French up until this point to try and get you down a rabbit hole, which you may not be able to get out of. But unfortunately, you've got it on the fourth clue. Do you want the final two clues, Justin?
Yeah, I do.
Your fifth clue would have been, I'm the highest scoring French player in Championship history.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that.
I was very proud of that clue. I thought it was very good. And the final clue was, I am best remembered for a penalty I took against Cardiff City.
I definitely would have got it, but it's more so the fact that when it came into my head, I started singing the chant that Leicester fans created for Jan Kermigan, but I can't remember it. It's to the tune of "Turn Around Every Now and Then."
Yes, Kermigan. Good stuff.
But that's the only bit I know.
It's good stuff. It's really good stuff. But yeah, that penalty. Despite he was a good player, Jan Kermigan, wasn't he? But that penalty has completely ruined any legacy that he's had, even though it started right at the start of his Championship career. Because
65 goals in 211 Championship games.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
That is really, really good, particularly when he didn't make his debut until the age of 27 in the Championship. But that Panenka penalty, God, that has haunted him for years. Because if anyone isn't old enough who's listening to this to remember Jan Kermigan's penalty in the playoff semi-finals, whenever it was, go search it on YouTube, because it genuinely must be the worst penalty considering the circumstances as well.
Decisive as well,
Championship history. No. I was looking at it before. It wasn't the decisive one, but it basically meant Leicester were on their way out. So there you go, ladies and gents. Jan Kermigan's this week's answer to the Craig Bryson pub quiz. And this has been the Second Tier Preview Show, brought to you by SBK. We'll be back again on Sunday, where we'll be doing a roundup of all the weekend's action. Our last weekend show before the Christmas day. I don't know why I said the Christmas day.
The Christmas day. This is the Christmas day. This is the one.
This is the Christmas day, ladies and gents. And just a bit of admin, actually, while we're here. We're going to be doing the weekend show on Sunday, as per usual. And then after that, we'll have a preview show coming out on Monday, where we'll be looking ahead to the Boxing Day set of games. So you're not going to be waiting around long to hear from us, ladies and gents. So we look forward to seeing you then for both of them. But this has been the Second Tier Preview Show, brought to you by SBK. I've been Ryan Dilks.
I've been Justin Peach.
And a big thank you for listening.